So Scott Talley from the worldwide headquarters of Network in Action during the middle of COVID-19, looking a little shaggy here. But Robert, you look great. That's what matters, because we're gathering today to talk to you about a little project, not such a little project. Just by way of introduction, Robert Guratzsch from Germany via Washington Memorial area. And Robert and I have been friends over the last year. We're both on a board to trying to help Memorial Elementary School at Lift Memorial, having a great time there, and we've become good friends. So I'm excited about hearing about your new play toy. So tell us a little bit about the original vision, where it came from, the living in Trinidad, and the whole good story.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. And you're right, this isn't just a little project. I hope that this will actually, come off the ground and be able to flourish one day. So the original vision has been, I've always liked rum, right? I've always been a connoisseur, so to speak. I've tried to liberate Cuba since my college days. And when I got the chance to live in the Caribbean islands for just over 2 years, that really solidified that fact. I got to taste some really phenomenal rums from Guyana, from Venezuela, and some of the little islands around the Caribbean. And I can't remember exactly when, but at some evening gathering with a cold rum in my hand, somebody planted the seed. Why don't you start a distillery, or why don't we make rum? And that silly conversation actually turned into some serious thinking and considerations. And we met with even the CEO of Angostura Rum in Trinidad, and he sort of gave us a little bit of guidance. Unfortunately, some of those plans got put on hold when I was transferred to Houston via my day job. And but now, after 2-3 years here in Houston, I'm starting to grow roots, and I figure this is as great a place as any to open your own company. You got 4 million thirsty Houstonians, and I think almost 16 or 17 million thirsty Texans that aren't that familiar yet with rum, and that I'm certain are curious to try it. So that's where the original visions and directions are coming from.
So that's awesome. So let me ask you this, talking about Houston as a place to do business, it is a spectacular place for entrepreneurship, but what gets you the most excited about doing business in Houston?
So we got, or I see a lot of people, international people from different countries, from different areas around the world. So I think Houston is an extremely international place. So you have that outside influence that I think can drive the hopeful consumer of my rum one day. Additionally, being in the United States and being in Texas, I think it's a very business-friendly environment, right? I lived in Brazil for 8 years, and I wouldn't dare anybody to try to start their own company, because it's a giant headache with lots of red tape. Whereas here in the United States, I think it's very easy, very business-friendly environment, and so again, I think this is the perfect time.
It's awesome. I totally agree with you. It's amazing how easy it is to start a business in America. I mean, basically, you need a $9 DBA. Now, your business is a little different. We've talked before. It's got a lot of moving parts. And so what has been like one of the bigger surprises that maybe one of your peers out there that's thinking about opening a distillery someday, just go through some of the gyrations that you've gone through that have been sort of surprising?
So, I mean, there's been something surprising every week that hits my forehead, and I think some of the bigger challenges are in terms of the licensing, the permitting, and the cost associated with them, as well as the equipment costs, right? Initially, I thought, we get ourselves a still and set up in the garage, and we start pumping out some rum, and tweak it until it's delicious and people will love it and buy it, and then we have growth, natural growth from there. But unfortunately, that's not really the case. I mean, to really purchase a professional distilling equipment is tens of thousands, 20 thousands of dollars, and to get that set up is additional funding requirements. Then the permitting is quite rigorous, to say the least. What I found out, speaking with attorneys and the permitting gurus and the folks with the city and the state and the federal bureaus, there's really a separation of the three production, distribution, and retail branches of the alcohol supply chain in the United States, and they really each want their cut, right? I would be a producer, and therefore I would need to go to bed with a distributor, and those distributors obviously need to sell through the retail space, and you can't have ownership between those three different branches, and so that was a really big surprise, and obviously a costly one, right? So when you sell a bottle of rum for $30, you may end up with only $10 in your own pocket. And so that certainly was a surprise.
Yeah, so as easy it is to start a business in America with a $9 or $10 DBA, starting a liquor business in America, Texas, is a whole different deal. So
Absolutely.
You've learned all that, but it's been fun to watch you on your journey. You're a guy that really does your due diligence. You're doing everything that needs to be done to be successful. And I know I have great confidence in you, and I know that you're going to do well. But talk about the vision. So you're starting to look at some plans, and you have some plans drawn up. What can we expect?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm working with a lot of your friends, of course, through NIA that you've introduced me to, looking at properties or locations where I can, start the production of, or put the still and start that. I'd like to have a taste room within that production facility to bring people in for tours, to sell, to do some direct sales from the manufacturing location, and to kind of educate the folks on rums, right? On Caribbean flavor and the difference between a white spirit, a white rum versus an aged product or a dark rum, and that's kind of also what I envision myself doing, in retirement, let's say, when I end up no longer with my day job, but with the distillery full time. And so I've worked with some architects, and we've got some renderings up and running now. And then I'm trying to put my footing into a couple of locations within the Heights, or just north of the Heights, or also just south of the Heights in Rice Military, close to where we live. I think that's an ideal location. We got lots of people that know what tastes good and are not afraid to spend a couple of extra dollars on making sure that the products that they drink are high quality. And yeah, so that's where we are now.
It seems like every 3 or 4 or 5 years, the drink of choice changed. I remember a number of years ago, it was flavored vodkas and different vodkas, and then it was tequilas there for a while, and now we're into whiskey. So it looks like you're going to be right on time. I'm going to count on you to lead the charge, and you're going to help us all transition to flavor. I got to admit, I've never had a flavor. I've had a dark rum once or twice. Love my mojitos, but I haven't really had the quality of rum that you're talking about. So I'm going to wait, Robert, and I'm going to have nothing to compare it to, and I'm going to help you determine that you have the very best high-end rum in the world.
Scott, you're absolutely right. I think most people, they're familiar with rum in these cocktail formats, right? Whether it's your mojito or your daiquiri or your even just a rum and coke with some lime in it. I think most people are familiar with that and may not have actually had a really nice rum. But there are lovely rums out there, just like there are really delicious bourbons and really nice whiskeys, aged products, 12, 15, 18 years. Some can be even as old as 20, 23, 25 years. And those on some ice with a tiny splash of coconut water, oftentimes not even needed the coconut water, just on ice. Those rums are fantastic, and they're just as lovely to drink on a Thursday evening after a long day of work as a nice bourbon from Kentucky or a nice Texas whiskey. So, and that's what I'm aiming at, right? That's the type of rum that I want to create. That's really the vision.
That's awesome.
Obviously, it takes time to create a 15 or 18 year spirit, 15 or 18 years to be exact. So I will have to also enter the market with some white spirits and maybe some spiced rums and a dark rum. And those can be very nice for cocktail making. And again, we want to create a quality product to make those quality cocktails.
Well,
but
to borrow the old Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 100 years ago, and the second best time is today. So hopefully old guys like I will live long enough to taste your 15 and 18-year-old rum. Hey, in the meantime, if anybody wants to reach you for some advice or to reach out and support you, just how would they go about doing that, Robert?
So we are now on social media. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook, as well as we've got the website up and running. It's RFG Distilling Company, or on the Instagram, it's RFG Distill Co., as well as on Facebook, RFG Distilling Co. And yeah, look for us, keep, reach out to us, and we'd love to have you on board early.
Well, I feel very confident, and I'll tell you, you're an easy guy to pull for. You're a great guy, and I know you're going to put out a great product, and I know you're going to do everything right. So looking forward to seeing you, help you get launched, and stay in touch and let us know how we can help you. Thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate it.
Take care.